Here we go.
This is the Skip Bayless Show, but today I have a co-star. In fact, I have two co-stars, but backed by popular demand is my wife, Ernestine, my ultimate sparring partner. Long time no see, right?
Long time no see.
And refereeing today is our daughter, Hazel, our 8-year-old Maltese. Hi, Hazel.
Get in the ring, Hazel. Hazel's in the ring.
Okay, just to remind everyone, when we met almost 20 years ago, you knew nothing about sports.
Nothing.
You had played in
Played in my marching band, the
high
clarinet.
school.
The closest I ever
That's
came
the
to
closest you
being
got to a football game, right?
Never been to a football game. Went to one baseball game in my life. Never went to an NBA game.
Okay. And now you are forced to eat, sleep, and breathe sports to the point that you actually, just to survive psychologically, you wrote a book about
I did. I wrote a book called Balls, How to Keep Your Relationship Alive When You Live with a Sports-Obsessed Guy.
This guy. I don't watch that much
No,
sports.
you do. And I now probably know more about sports than most guys on the street. Not because I try to, but...
I will basically attest to that.
Oh, you always attest to that.
No creature on earth watches more sports than this one right here because she sits with me, she lies with me, she
That
sleeps
is true,
beside
but it's a
me.
forced thing. She doesn't choose to do that.
Okay, we'll get to that in just a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's tell sort of the ultimate Skip versus Ernestine clash story,
Okay.
which happened 2 weekends ago, but it actually started 2 months ago.
Yeah.
When, just so you get this, there's a center out here not far from us. We're in Los Angeles on the west side of LA. It's a center for troubled kids that serves as both a home and a school grounds for them.
Great organization.
And I have donated to this organization for all 8 years that we have been out here in LA. In part, I must admit, because they do have a gym that I use. If you saw the tape of me, she shot the video of me making 3-point shots in response to Cam Newton. But they give an annual fundraiser out here that we're always invited to, and they have a musical act or guest. And each year they ask us to come, and I'd never really thought about it until I mentioned 2 months ago, oh, wait, they have Jackson Browne. Now, you may not know Jackson Browne, but I knew she is obsessed with Jackson Browne.
Jackson Browne. Jackson Browne,
This is a singer from the 70s.
But he's known throughout all
and
decades.
The God's truth is he was a heartthrob in the 70s, and I think it's more like she just thinks he's hot.
Well, I love him. I think he's hot, and I love his music. And so when Skip said, hey, do you want to go? I said,
Browne?
Are you kidding me? Yeah, I'll do anything to see Jackson Browne.
Okay,
And
so
there we go.
I actually did a good husband thing for maybe the first time in all the years we've been together.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I just said, hey, on that given night, which was 2 months in advance, I said, I'm not even going to look at the schedule.
Right.
I don't care what college football games are being played that night, and I live for college football as well as pro, as she unfortunately knows. She came in the other night late on Saturday, and I had another football game, and we were going to eat dinner, and she said, not another one.
I leave the room, and there's one football game on, and then I go in the kitchen, and I come back, and there's a whole different team playing, and I said, does this ever end?
I tried
It's
to
just
explain,
one goes into the other, into the
BYU
other.
and Houston late because Houston had to upset BYU to get Colorado
But it's
in the
always
playoffs. I tried
another,
to
oh, this
explain,
is,
she didn't
every
get it.
time I walk in, it's
Okay.
like, who's this? Oh, this is the team that's whatever. It's always a big deal.
Okay, so without looking at the NBA or the college football schedule, 2 months in advance, I said, done.
Right.
You want to see Jackson Browne? We're going to see Jackson Browne. It was up in Hollywood at a theater at Hollywood and Vine. I said, we are there, no questions asked. I closed my eyes, I plunged.
Right.
So then 2 months passed, and all of a sudden it's upon us, and I said, okay, we ready to go on Saturday night? And I still hadn't even checked the schedule and let it sink in just how much of a sacrifice it was going to be for me.
Right.
And then I read the sort of itinerary of the night off the program.
This is the clincher.
to her. And it was a big program featuring the center, in which there was an hour-long presentation about the center ahead of Jackson Brown.
Cocktail party.
And there was a cocktail party, and there was also a comedian on before
Right,
Jackson
comedian,
Brown.
and then a fundraiser, tape, video, deck. All I wanted to
kids were
do
gonna
was
be
to
there,
see
and they were gonna
Jackson Brown.
sing.
I just
Yeah,
wanted to see
okay.
Jackson Brown. So he's doing his stuff, watching games, whatever.
So I realize by about Thursday, oh my God, Denver is at Lakers. So we got Nuggets at Lakers. That's going to be threatened. And obviously I went to Vanderbilt. So I graduated from Vanderbilt. They're playing at LSU.
Right.
And my school that I grew up loving, University of Oklahoma, as you well know, they're playing at home against Alabama. So all these games, I'm just going to have to cash out of all of them, although we decided we would take an Uber to the event so I didn't have to drive, so I could watch Oklahoma on my YouTube TV on my phone.
Right.
And
it's not in a great area, so of course, you know, it's right where the Hollywood Walk of Fame is, and I was down there in the daylight, and in the daylight, it's not a great area, and this was going to be night, and I said, I don't want to wait for an Uber car, so maybe we can get a car service to pick us up.
So she got a car
I get
service to pick us up at 10 o'clock.
10
'cause
o'clock
it's supposed
at
to go
night.
from 7 until 10, right?
But what happens is you were doing your watching games, posting videos, doing whatever, and I said, you know, maybe I'm going to take a nap in the meantime, just so, because I just wanted to just zone out for a little bit. And then when I woke up, I was so tired, and then I'm thinking, do we want to go to a cocktail party, a fundraiser hour, a comedian? All I want to do is see Jackson Brown. So I wasn't in the best of moods.
Look him up.
And yeah, he's great. I wasn't in the best of moods, and when Skip came in to say to me, we have an hour, can you get done in an hour? I said, listen, all I want to do is see Jackson Brown. I don't want to go to a cocktail party. I don't want to go to a dinner. I don't want to go, I go through the whole thing. All I want to see is Jackson Brown. Yeah. Skip says, we can't do that. We have to go to every single thing. I gave my word.
So the dress is business casual, so we don't dress up that much, but we walk in the door to the theater at Hollywood and Vine, and it's a madhouse of people dressed for like New Year's Eve.
Like a prom versus New Year's Eve. It was crazy.
It was crushed with people. There must have been, I don't know, 400 or 500 people. It looked like
because they
crammed into this
I guess
theater.
they were selling tickets because Jackson Brown's poster was outside of the theater.
So on the way, I'm watching my school, Oklahoma, that I grew up loving, just beat the hell out of Alabama. Vanderbilt had already beaten Alabama, so both Oklahoma and Vanderbilt beat Alabama in the same year. And I'm actually tweeting off my phone in the Uber on the way. Right?
I remember, yes.
Okay, but I give up the end of the game. Yeah. I give up Vanderbilt at LSU. We hung in for a while. And yet, when we walk in the door, it's such a madhouse of people. I don't love it because we're going to have to be at a table. It was a dinner.
Yeah, they open up the doors, and it was like, if you ever saw the movie Dirty Dancing, where they have 1,000 tables in a banquet room, it's 10 people to a table, and they're jamming them in. And then I look over, and the waiters have KN95 masks, and I had just gotten over COVID for the first time. I never got it before, and I don't want to get it again if I don't have to. So I'm freaking out because I don't have a mask. Well, I did have a mask on me, but I didn't want to put a mask on going to see Jackson Brown, and we were going to sit. They gave us the best table in the house.
We were right up against
on
the stage. So if we went and sat with about 10 other people at a table, we were going to be trapped for the night. And I realized, oh my God, I'm going to have to talk sports with a lot of these people who I don't know, which I don't love. And I hate having to talk across the table. It's my pet peeve. Where she's great at it, I'm not.
And all I want to do is see Jackson Brown, and I'm sure these people don't even care about Jackson Brown, so I wouldn't even end up hearing him sing. I'm so close to Jackson Brown, I could touch him, but I still can't see Jackson Brown. So after 2 minutes, we open the door, we see the flood of people in there, KN95 masks. The waiters are carrying dishes above their head because there's so many people, they're jammed like a wedding. I look at Skip and I said to him, let's just sit out in the lobby by the bar until Jackson comes on at 9 p.m. I go, oh, no, it's 7 p.m. We have 2 hours to go. I said, why don't you just watch your games until then? So we sit out by the bar, and then waiters are coming over talking to him about sports.
LeBron. They want to ask me about
LeBron.
LeBron. Yep.
And then finally, I said to him, this is crazy. And he said, do you want to go? And I was like, yeah, I want to go. I want to see Jackson Browne. I've always wanted to see, but now I can't see Jackson Browne. So we walk out, I call an Uber, and I've never had this happen before. The Uber was within 0 seconds because they had just dropped somebody off.
Yeah.
And the best part for me was I looked down, and I'm a big music fan. I'm standing on Luther Vandross's Star. And so I said, wait, don't get in the Uber. I have to take a picture. So that was the highlight for me
was the highlight
of
the
the
night.
evening.
You got
I still didn't
Luther
get to see
Vandross
Jackson Browne.
Instead of Jackson Browne.
Right.
Okay. So we get in the Uber just in time for me to see the end of the Oklahoma game.
Right.
And I'm out of my mind because that was the only good game we played really the whole year. And I thought, we've turned the corner, and then we go to LSU this past Saturday, and we don't turn the corner. They turned on us. But the point was, now I'm thinking, I'm going to make it home in time for the entire Laker game.
Right.
And so she's going to be forced to watch basketball
Right.
through
Then
the
I
night.
get to watch the Lakers game.
Yeah.
Instead of
So
Jackson Browne.
That's exactly right. But we got home by
10 after 7.
10 after.
Yeah.
No, we
It was
got
like-
there just before 7.
We got there 10 of 7. We
Okay.
got the Uber car like at 7. And
Okay.
then we got back at 10 after 7. And Hazel, who normally flips out when we leave because she doesn't want to be alone, she didn't even have time to realize we were gone. And we walked in the house, and she wasn't even aware that we were walking in. She was like, what are you doing here so fast?
Okay. So we do watch the Lakers.
Right. We did
and-
watch the Lakers.
And here's the weird thing about her sports watching. She still doesn't like football.
No.
She especially doesn't like college football.
No, God,
She
no.
doesn't like college basketball.
No, it's so Mickey Mouse.
Mickey
it's
Mouse.
Mickey.
I don't
it's
get
just,
Mickey Mouse.
The kids
But-
start to cry after they
the point
lose.
is-
It's just so ridiculous.
But the point is, you have fallen for pro basketball.
Yeah, I
NBA,
like the NBA.
right?
Yeah, I like.
Okay.
I like
And why is that?
because I can see their faces and I get a
And?
connection to them, and I could watch them play, and they're some cute guys, and I get a vested interest in the cute guys.
Okay. So you can see their physiques, right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
you say, oh,
I
he's
say
got
he has
a great
body. Look at his arms; they look really great.
So here's the double standard in this relationship that I have never understood, but I try to live with it. She lives with my sports. I live with this double standard.
Yeah,
You constantly say, oh, that guy's cute, or that guy's hot, or
Yeah.
that guy's got a great body.
Yeah.
If I ever dared to say that about a woman on television,
well, I rag.
I
on
would
it
have
then.
hell to pay
Well,
because
then it's not the
hell
same
hath no
thing.
fury like
Yeah.
a woman scorned by me watching another woman on
But I'm
television.
forced to watch all of these games,
Okay,
so I
but-
have to have a reason for liking them. So I have eyes and I can see, so I see the guy is cute on
Okay.
playing basketball. And he's got a great body. And Skip gets a little annoyed. I say, wow, look at his body. And I immediately I know Skip is saying, well, my arms look pretty good too.
Well, it's true.
But you're not
Right.
him. You're not, Jean Morant or
Okay,
Gasol
all right.
brothers that no
Or
longer play,
LeBron James.
or LeBron James, who
Yeah.
has a huge body, and AD,
so she's kind of gotten
Kawhi.
into the Lakers because you kind of like Austin Reeves.
I do.
right?
I think he's adorable.
think
I
he's
think his
adorable.
hair is so cute. He's
you go.
he's adorable.
Okay.
And the other new guy that looks like him, what's
Yeah.
his name?
Dalton Connect.
Yeah,
And they
it's
look
his
like-
double. It's his
like
twin.
twins.
They're
right?
so cute.
Yeah.
They're like the double
Okay.
mint twins. They're adorable. But the
Do they
but
have great bodies?
They
I
have
don't
great
know.
body. Yeah, they're really not. I mean, no, Austin Reeves is a little thin, but I mean, he's going to bulk up at some point.
So I
But-
try to explain. Austin Reeves played at my school, Oklahoma,
I know,
for 2
There's
years.
always an Oklahoma
I
connection.
know, but it was 2 years at Wichita State, 2 years at Oklahoma. He played all 4 years of college basketball. She wouldn't care.
I remember his name.
And nobody drafted him, and the Lakers let him come to summer league, and all
Right.
of a sudden he's become what I would call a near star, like not a full-fledged star, but
He's good.
He's
Come
pretty
on.
good.
He has saved them many
He has
many
saved them
nights.
many nights. And you like D'Angelo
I
Russell.
love
You think
D'Angelo
his
Russell.
hair
I
is
think
a
his
little
hair, the blonde
weird.
hair, is kind of funky.
it's
I
kinda
like him.
funky. Okay.
Yeah, I like them.
Okay, and Anthony Davis.
I love AD.
You knew him from college.
I knew
with
him when he was
Unibrow,
unibrow.
right?
Yeah, I mean, he was the unibrow, and I always laughed at that. But he's got a really good body too.
He does.
Anthony Davis. I
don't
said
think
to you
he
the
has
other night. I said, doesn't he remind you of what's his name, Dwight Howard?
No,
He's kind of built.
I mean Dwight Howard is like a statue.
Yeah,
Like-
but
like
he's got
chiseled,
big shoulders, and
huge
he's
shoulders.
Yeah, and I
I
mean,
mean, Anthony Davis, weirdly, he's only supposed to be like 6'10", but But he plays much bigger than 6'10".
He looks bigger, and
Hazel's
he's got a
getting
good
bored.
body.
She's
But anyway,
actually going to
but
sleep.
one of the reasons I love watching the Lakers is because I love the whole celebrity angle of it.
Okay, that is true.
Right.
Which is Diane Cannon.
Diane Cannon, who I love,
Okay,
and I
don't
get
know if
very
you remember
upset.
Diane Cannon, but she was one
Well,
of the
she's-
ultimate
but-
early 80s Lakers fans.
Yeah,
And she was a
she
big
and Jack,
movie star.
Jack and Diane were the two
Nicholson.
staples.
Right.
And
now
then
Jack's
but Jack's sons come, which I like, and Lou Adler comes,
Lou
who I
Adler, who's
love,
one of
who's
the
the
great
biggest
music producer.
iconic legends in the world.
Look up Mamas and
Right.
Papas.
And then, so it's fun to pick out who's there. And when I don't see Diane, I worry, is she okay? And a friend of ours knows her, and I send a text and I say, is Diane okay? And he said, yes, she's just not coming. You know, she had things to do.
Okay, and she's obsessed with, thank you, Hazel. She's obsessed with this little,
Little
woman
woman.
who
There's
sits
a
in the
little
front
woman
row. And
that
we
sits
just,
in
she
the
just
front
constantly
row
on
with
television.
the blonde, looks like Jeannie Buss.
Like an assistant who
like-
looks just like
right,
Jeannie Buss,
right.
who's sitting next to her and,
Right.
and constantly sort of
telling her
updates
what's
her what's
going on.
happening. And I don't know if she can see that well.
I don't know. I looked her up, but I couldn't. They did say that they said I think she was related to some very wealthy. I don't know,
I'm sure she's wealthy.
Korean.
But they sit
oil
right next to the visitors' bench.
Yeah, they're
in the
sitting
two
right next to,
seats
like, Lou Adler and-
yeah.
and-
but
and-
but on their left side
Yeah.
is often the head coach of the other team.
Yeah,
So
it's insane. And I feel better when I see her and I say to Skip, "Oh, look, the little woman is there tonight. It's okay." It's like she's our friend.
okay, well, she's your friend, but that's the only way I can get her to hang with me through a Laker game because she's constantly
Like, oh,
celebrity
is that Bill
sighting.
Maher? Oh, is
Yeah.
that?
Oh, look, it's so and so, right?
Sometimes little Wayne's
Sometimes
there.
little our guy, little
Yeah,
Wayne's
Wayne's there.
And of course, we made it home just in time to watch the Lakers crater that night
Yeah.
against the Nuggets, who own them. The Nuggets have now won 13 of the last 14 games. She's not that interested in that.
I'm okay
But the
with
final
them.
score was 127 to 102, and we watched to the bitter end.
We did, yeah.
LeBron did not have a great night. He had 6 turnovers. He scored only 18 points, which for him, he's highly capable even as he goes
he
on
gets
40.
an off night
Yeah.
sometimes.
Okay.
But the clincher was at 9:10. Skip turns to me and says, "No, I guess Jackson's coming on now." It was just like, why don't you pour salt on the wound? One day
Jackson
I'm going
Brown.
to
I
meet
don't get
Jackson
Jackson
Brown,
Brown,
and I'm
but that's
going to
just
tell
me.
him what happened, and
He's got
going to
one
laugh.
good song. It's called
Are you
Doctor
kidding
My
me?
Eyes.
Running on
Look
empty.
him up.
He's iconic. Ugh, I can't even.
He's just hot.
Yeah.
That's-
Well, he is, but he's a legend.
Okay. So I don't understand why I can't get you more into football because you just rebel against it. You resist it because it's too violent, right?
Well, yeah, they cart the guys off. The guy can't move, and then they finally get him off, and I'm really upset. And then he lifts his finger up, and then we know he's okay. And then the next day, I say to Skip, "What happened to that guy?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't know. I'm
he's
sure he's
okay.
fine."
He's
Like
okay.
it just comes and goes. But last night it was fun because they were in a snowstorm, and it was
And
just
I
kind
hate
of
snow
crazy.
games. I tweeted, you didn't even know this, but I'm tweeting while you're talking.
Well, I know because you're
I
not
find
listening to
it
me and you don't
pure
answer
silliness.
anything I'm
I know.
saying to you, and I'm
We
talking.
watched the Buffalo-San Francisco game together, which we don't often
No,
watch.
but I was
But we were
eating
eating
dinner.
dinner, so we watched, instead of me in my man cave and you
Yeah.
back in the back,
Right.
we watched together on the couch because we were both eating.
Well, you allowed me to watch because you didn't have that much vested in the game. Otherwise, you'd
That
say,
is
no,
true.
you
I
can't
didn't
come
have
in.
anything vested in
Right.
the game because the 49ers are pretty much wiped out.
But then
by
I found
injuries.
I found it horrible. I kept saying to you, how can they play? I really don't understand how these guys are in 28-degree weather and they have T-shirts on
thought they were gonna
and
get
how they're
sick.
not going to get pneumonia. I just don't get it.
By the way, her mother was the greatest Jewish mother in the history
Yeah,
of
she
mothers from
was,
the
yeah.
Lower East Side, named Evelyn, and
Yeah.
you are Evelyn.
But how do
reincarnated.
they not get? I said to Skip, if I go outside and it's cold out and I don't have a coat on, likelihood I'm going to get sick. I'll come back with a sore throat in a couple of days. They're playing
It's
for 4
football.
hours. So because they're
They got
football
lots
players,
on.
they don't
got
have.
3 layers on, right?
Some of them have T-shirts
And
on.
I don't think it was that cold actually.
It was
'cause
28
It
degrees.
was 29. Okay,
That's the difference. You always do that.
Well, it was 29 degrees.
I said it was 28. He goes, it's 29.
I know,
like
but
that makes
it's
all the
barely
difference
cold
in the
enough
world.
to change it into sort of freezing rain or snow, and it was just drifting down. So it wasn't
It was like
a
a blizzard.
No,
It was like a blizzard. And then I said to you, I don't know how these guys are going to take off in a plane. That's not safe. And then he goes, do you know how many planes I've taken off?
From O'Hare, I used to live in
I
Chicago.
said, well,
I mean, they just de-ice the wings and
but
they're
the
snow
runway
plowing
is
the runway.
very slippery.
I know, but once you're
Planes-
up, you go right through it, and within 1 minute, you're clear of the snow.
I don't know if you know this, the worst part of flying is taking off and landing. So if they're taking off in like snow drifts, that's when the plane sometimes, dovetails on the runway and they land. My friend was in that U.S. Air at LaGuardia.
Great.
They ended up in the water when
We
it
don't
was
want to
snowing.
wish that upon anybody.
No, I don't. That's why I said to him,
I promise
why
you
don't
the
they go home?
49ers couldn't wait to get on their plane to take off to get home.
I thought they should have just stopped and should have gotten off in the middle of, just walked off the field when it was really bad and said they're going to lose anyway.
Yeah.
They're from San Francisco. Let them go back
Would
where
you
there's no
believe the
snow.
49ers now have the same record as my Dallas Cowboys? They're both 5-7. So they're having as miserable a year as we are having, and they beat us. But now we've caught them, and now we're about to take off and maybe
Yeah.
win out, for all I know.
Well, they had to
And
put up
all
with
of a
the
sudden-
snow last night. That was pretty
Okay, so how do you
torturous.
put up with me and the Dallas Cowboys?
I don't watch them with you.
That is true.
Poor
Because
Hazel gets dragged into watching
she
them.
does.
But I will not. I learned my lesson after
Okay.
15 years, and then it was going bad. And then I realized I don't have to put myself in that situation anymore.
That's true. Okay, so before we leave behind football
Yeah.
versus basketball, the issue with football for her is the reason she rebels against it is it's too violent, too many people get hurt, but
I would let
it's
my kid
also
play.
much more complicated than basketball.
Yeah, I
because
don't understand
basketball's
it.
it's a pretty
Yeah,
simple
get a
game.
ball and a
See
hoop.
ball, hoop, and it either goes through the basket or it doesn't go through the basket. And she's gotten very good at block versus
Charge.
charge. She gets charge and she
Yeah,
calls it
I do.
quickly.
I call it before.
Charging.
Yeah.
And she's all over
Foul,
that.
yeah,
And she actually has a pretty good mind for how the game goes and what's happening, and she has insightful comments when we're watching basketball, but she just rejects football because after nearly 20 years, we still haven't gotten it through her head that you get 3 tries to make 10 yards. I
It's just
explain
too
it over and over, and
complicated.
she just
But I'm
doesn't
not the only
want.
one because I know other,
Okay,
women
but
that
on
say the same
fourth-
thing.
On the 4th try, if you just have a yard to go, you can try to go for it, or you can say, we give up and we punt.
But then last night they said there were 13 guys on the field when there was only 12.
No,
and-
12 to 11.
Well, 12 to
Okay.
11, and then they're bringing out that big yellow thing or whatever they put. Remember when they carry out that big thing and then they throw the flag down? I just don't get. I have no interest, to be honest with you. I just don't have interest.
I know.
If I had interest, I would care.
Okay, so
really
every
don't.
once in a while you'll watch a game with me, like a college game.
The guy last night was cute. What's his name? The guy that.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. He
You
was
like
cute.
him.
Yeah,
He's
I thought he was
cute.
cute. So I would
Good
now have
body.
a vest. He had cute
Right.
hair, long hair, good body.
Haley, what's her name? Stein.
Oh, that's her boyfriend. I forgot.
yeah.
Yeah, the actress.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot
But
that
you're
was
not
her.
that into her.
I liked her. She was good in a couple of movies.
And you're not a big Taylor Swift
Oh
fan.
no, I do not. I know I'm un-American, but I am not a Taylor Swift fan. I bought her one CD.
What do
care
you
about her
not
so
like
much.
about Taylor Swift?
I just, to me, first of all,
I don't get her.
I don't get her. She seems like she's a nice person and she does wonderful things for kids and they all love her and they idolize her.
But you have friends
That-
who idolize her.
I do. I have friends that idolize her and their
Idolize
kids
her music.
and the kids love her because they
I
wear
just
her
don't get
wristbands. But her music to me, I'd rather listen to Bonnie Raitt, who and nobody knows who Bonnie Raitt is, it's the same as Jackson Browne. That is part of where her music came from. It's very similar. It's back to that old, Linda Ronstadt. It's California Southern rock. It's very much like that.
Yeah.
To me.
So if we're going hot or not hot, Taylor Swift to me, not hot. But that's just me. But beauty is in
she's
the
a
eye of
cute,
the beholder,
she's a
right?
cute girl, but I just don't. I'm not a big fan. I know people like her, but it's not.
Okay.
She's not on my turntable.
So speaking of Taylor, there's a guy named Taylor Sheridan
Yeah.
that we are obsessed with because you got to give me this. I do obsess with sports,
You do.
but I don't go out with the guys ever, right? I do play golf
Right.
maybe twice a week on Tuesday, Thursday morning
Yeah.
if I can.
Yeah.
And yet there's not Wednesday night card games.
You can do that. I don't care.
I know, but I don't.
Well,
right?
That's your choice.
But I always try to set aside time to watch things with you, and Friday night is always date
And I
night,
don't go out with the
right?
girls, so there you
that's
go. I
true.
go out
Okay,
when I
fair
want to
enough.
go out
That's
with the
true.
girls, but
Okay.
so we are equal and
Okay,
even.
so Taylor Sheridan we're now obsessed with because it seems like he's written every show on TV.
Right.
And all the shows that we are
Well, it started with
binge
Yellowstone.
watching.
It started with Yellowstone,
and
1883,
and 1923.
1923.
And those
we really enjoyed.
we enjoyed both of them. I thought 1883 was his
That was-
best
yeah, that
ever.
was really,
right?
really
And
good. Yeah,
1923,
really
which
good.
is still
Yeah.
suspended in animation right now because
Yeah.
we don't know the outcome. We
Right.
keep waiting for the next year to come, right?
Yeah.
1924, right?
Maybe.
But we did watch Yellowstone from night one.
Yeah,
And
I love that.
And yet
And Kevin Costner
you
was
were
just,
out now because there's no Kevin Costner.
I won't
So
watch
we
it
haven't
without
even
Kevin
tried the
Costner.
new season
No,
yet.
I liked all the characters when they were together, and Kevin Costner held it together to me.
He did.
And
it
without
was his
Kevin
greatest
Costner,
role of all.
it just loses it.
Because I used to tell you, to me, he has a wimpy quality in him. Even though I liked Waterworld, nobody seemed to like
I
Waterworld.
like Waterworld. I like Dances with Wolves. I
but-
liked
but
every
he-
movie
he's
ever
always
done.
a little soft, and even when he played Robin Hood, he was a little too soft for Robin Hood. That's just me.
Well,
But
that's the role they make him play.
okay, but the point is that
In real life, he's not like that.
I know, but all of a sudden, he becomes John Dutton in Yellowstone.
Oh, he was amazing.
And he is
He
the
is
ultimate. He is a
kick-ass,
badass.
man.
He is a
He
bad
is.
MF.
That
man.
was a
He is.
great character, and he was so good in it.
And he even changed his speech pattern. He got this growly sort of voice.
I know.
And he was intimidating, and he would kill you.
Yeah,
If you crossed him, he would kill. He might not do it with his bare hands, but he would have somebody kill you, right?
Oh,
and they
he
would
is
dump you
just
over
so
the cliff,
good.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're out on Yellowstone.
I don't want to see it without him. I mean, I like Beth. I like all the characters, but without him as the central character,
Yeah.
he really held it all together.
He did. Okay, so we got all kinds of Taylor Sheridan going on right now.
Paramount Plus is our
Paramount
network,
Plus just dominates our life because we did Tulsa King.
which I love. Oh
Okay.
God, that's such a good
Okay,
show.
but she thinks Stallone is hot.
I love Stallone. How can you not love Stallone? I mean, Stallone
does
is
make it
Stallone.
go.
He is that
He still
show.
takes over
It
the
started
screen.
out a little slow,
It did.
right? But then it just kept. It got better and better, and now that show to me is one of the best shows on TV.
Yeah.
He just owns it.
Okay, so we've watched 2 seasons
Yeah,
right, of Tulsa King.
yeah.
And I hung in there with it. I thought it was a little silly at
thought
times.
you liked it.
I like it okay, but I didn't think the dialogue was the greatest.
Oh, but now it was good because he's been writing it. You know, the second season he wrote a lot, and
okay.
And I like the actors. I like the whole idea of it. And I love Frank Grillo.
Oh, man.
Frank Grillo is underrated. Oh my, he could be a Bond. He could be
He,
James
he
Bond.
could be.
He
I
really
would agree.
could. I
But
mean,
he's
I
a
think they
hardcore
should.
New York guy, and you're hardcore New York,
Yeah. Well,
right?
yeah. So we could bond together.
You could James
we can
Bond
go down
together,
to
right?
Mulberry Pizza downtown.
Okay, so then it comes down to our 2 last big Taylor Sheridan shows. Hazel's
She
not
loves
happy
Taylor
with the
Sheridan.
crew here.
She loves Taylor Sheridan also.
Yeah. Okay, we've got Lioness versus Landman. Now, those are the 2 things that are operating right
Right.
now that we are watching
Yeah.
closely.
Lioness,
Okay,
the
we do
best.
agree on this, rarely. Lioness is the best
Yeah.
show on TV to
No,
us, and
that's
we are in the
fabulous.
second
Yeah.
season of Lioness.
Yeah.
And Landman features a good friend of ours, Billy Bob Thornton.
Right, who we love.
And so far, we're into how many episodes?
Four.
I think we just watched the 4th episode. As much as I love Billy Bob, know him well, he dominates the show
Oh,
in,
he's
in
amazing.
large part because it was written for him to play this character of the Landman.
Right.
I don't love the character because it doesn't rise up to his stature because the Landman is the go-between. He's just the manager.
Foreman is how
He's
he
like the
describes it,
foreman
yeah.
of the oil operation of John Hamm, who plays the
Who I
land
like
baron.
too, but
But he's not in it that much.
no, he hasn't
doesn't-
been in it.
And he's
that
been a
much.
little
And Demi
plasticky
Moore.
so far because we don't know that much about him.
No.
And Demi Moore is we see her swimming in his pool, swimming laps. Hi, honey, I love you. And that's all we've seen so
Right.
far. But maybe it's going to heat up.
Maybe.
Okay. But to me, the dialogue is not as deep and powerful as Lioness dialogue.
Oh my
and so
God.
Billy has to sort of rise above it, but he's
But he
great
can make
at
it
the
happen.
flip, sarcastic one-liners.
Yeah.
And it's vintage West Texas in that it's Midland, Odessa, which I know and you don't.
No.
But a lot of New Yorkers are fascinated by that Texas culture and that oil culture.
Well, it's like Dallas revisited.
It is.
It's
It
just
has
like
some Dallas going on, and the women in it are a little cardboard cutouty to me. His ex-wife, who's now becoming his new love interest.
Ali Lauder.
Yeah, and his daughter.
Who played in 1883.
Yeah.
Was it 1883 or 1923? One of the two. Yeah.
I think she did. But she wasn't the main one.
No. She was like a
1923.
minor character.
But their dialogue is B-movie sort of potboiler melodramatic dialogue
it's like
to me.
Dallas.
Yeah, and so I feel for Billy because it's like he's rising above all that,
so amazing.
and he is electric in this,
mean,
and
he
he takes over every scene because he is in almost every scene. Correct.
You have to. And my favorite that I love, Billy, Goliath.
Oh,
I mean, that series to me was one of the best, and Fargo. He was just incredible.
Yeah, quick story about Billy, backstory. When we connected, he was on our show when I was on First Take, and we were out here in L.A., and he just came on as a guest. He brought his book and his autobiography, and I read it, and I was just obsessed with it because his story was a lot like my backstory. I'm Oklahoma, he's Arkansas, the neighboring state. Two very different states, but we came from somewhat the same type of background. Then she arranged for him to call me on my birthday.
Because she was so obsessed with the book, and I figured, what can I get you for your birthday that you...
It was a good gift.
I contacted Billy's agent, and he called me, because he's the nicest guy in the world, and said,
let me... not the agent.
Billy, well, I don't know about the agent, maybe the agent's nice, but Billy is nice. And Billy called me out of the blue when he was doing Fargo, and he said, I said, do you want to come to a birthday party, bring your wife, and the four of us can, celebrate Skip's birthday? And he said, I'm up in Calgary, but I'll send a video. And he did send a video that he made specifically for you for your birthday, and ever since then Billy is one of the nicest people in the world. He and I talked,
and then he called me back again maybe a few weeks later, and he was stuck in Calgary. This is in the winter. Well, it's right around my birthday, so this is probably
December,
in January. And he said it was hard to get the NFL games, and he was doing this terrible show called Fargo. And I said, well, I know Fargo, the movie, obviously, which was a big hit and a cult classic.
Because he didn't think it was going to be something, but it turned
Billy
out to
had
be.
no idea this was going anywhere because he was seeing the dailies and he thought they weren't very good. But isn't that always the case?
The magnitude of that
And he didn't tell me he was playing this character named Lorne Malvo, who was the ultimate villain. And before I know it, he's telling me how he's stuck in Calgary, and the next time I see, he's walking on stage to get his Emmy for Lorne Malvo.
Just incredible.
He won the Emmy, and he beat out another show that we love, which was the Sherlock Holmes show.
Oh, it was great with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Right.
Yeah, that was great.
Right.
Yeah.
And Holmes Watson.
Yeah.
And we thought that was great, but this was greater.
Oh, and then Goliath.
And then Goliath.
Even beats that. Anyway, but back to Landman.
Okay. So we love him in Landman.
Yeah.
I don't love Landman itself.
No.
But it got better.
But we have to watch it. We will not watch it.
We will not watch it.
We love Billy.
Which brings me back to Lioness. Okay. So classically, just last night, we were watching the latest Lioness. I think we're seven deep into the second season, right? Mm-hmm. And the Zoe Saldana character, who plays
so great in
the leader, she is great. She is the leader of this special ops unit that features a woman, sort of a double agent that they can send in who's trained to kill.
Yeah.
And in the first season, the Lioness had to eliminate a really bad guy,
right?
And she did.
She's great too. The whole
she's
cast
great, and she's back. Okay. It is great. It's the best show that we see on TV right now. But at the end of last night's episode, the Zoe character had been wounded in battle. She actually, we don't get it, but she...
We don't want to give it away to people that haven't seen it, but
that's true, that's true. But I need to get to the gist of it. The clash of it is her husband, who's a doctor, who's sort of not
He's
involved in her
played in other
life.
things. I can't remember. Not Desperate Housewives, but he was in something.
Okay. So the point is, at the end of the episode, they're clashing because she wants to go right back into the
Right.
field.
She's dedicated.
And they've got a mission that's going to be very dangerous.
Yep.
And the doctors have told her, if you push this too far, this wound, it could, your internal bleeding
hurting
could start
yourself, you
again,
could
and you
die.
could bleed out in 15 minutes.
Right.
So he's out of his mind because she says, I'm going back into battle.
Right.
So they have this classic clash of, she says, I told you before we got married, I swore an oath to this country to do
Right,
whatever
but she has
it takes.
2 kids and the husband,
She
and,
does.
and he,
Okay,
he's
so
like,
we
what
got into a
about
big
us?
argument last night
Right.
because I'm with her
Of course you would be with her.
and she's
And I'm
with
with the
him.
husband because, of course, you feel that way because that's how you live
That's
your
my
life
whole
with
life.
sports.
I swore
the
an
house
oath.
could be on fire, and just as long as the TV is still not on fire, you will sit in the
It's
house
true.
watching it
I
and just
would.
tell the fire department, just, put the fire out around me. Me, I would be out of the house in 1 second because I don't want to die in a fire. You have to watch the Dallas Cowboys and see if they're going to lose, and then you could bitch a little bit about it. But
That's not what I do.
seriously, but
I live and
he,
die.
the doctor, is saying to his wife, we have 2 kids, and if you die, then he said, the kids will get on without you. That's what he said.
He said
But
he would
said,
die.
I would die. I can't live without you. And I said, that's so incredible. That guy is amazing. Like, that's a good guy.
Yeah.
You, don't worry about it. The house is on fire. It's all right. Just
No,
go.
But it was so pure for her to say, I warned you, and I did warn you on
Yeah,
our
it's
first
good
date.
warning. It doesn't.
Did I not
please.
warn you?
Oh, warning, schmorning. It doesn't matter.
Okay,
you with
but
the warning. You'll always be 1A to my 1B. Whatever. That
But
is.
did I not tell you that?
But that's as
We're
that
at a
words
little
is
pizza
words.
place on First
Yeah, I
Avenue
know.
in
I
New York
remember. I
City.
was there.
You were
Yeah,
there.
68th and First. I remember. You said to me, "Oh, just want you to know." If
Just so
this
you
ever
get- if
goes
this goes
anywhere, I
anywhere-
know it is built.
Okay,
It's
but
drilled
I
in my
said
head.
it because
If
I
this ever
swore an
goes
oath
anywhere,
to this,
yeah.
this life.
If this ever goes
okay,
anywhere,
But I said it's not my job. It's my,
my
passion. It's my reason
and
for
I
being.
just was like, yeah, whatever, okay. But I didn't think I was going to see you anyway because I didn't even know if I liked you that much. But okay, so then we fast forward. Yeah, but it's not as though you don't do anything else. You don't ever leave the house. You just sit with a sports in your vein, hooked
right.
up with an IV.
I know,
You do
but-
go out, but I guess there are people like you, like that character that they wrote about,
Yeah.
that are a little psycho over their
I'm a
job.
lot psycho,
And
okay.
over what their passion is. But then there's like the doctor who's like me that
The
sees the
husband,
bigger
yeah.
picture
Yeah.
and sees what's really important in life, because in life, the sports is something you enjoy and you love and you live for and all of that. But when push comes to shove, sports is not going to be there if you're sick. Sports is not going to be there if you need something. Like her, the husband was there for her,
Yeah.
and she's saying, well, screw you. I took an oath. And
I mean, he doesn't even really know what she does
well,
because
she
she
can't
talk
tell
about
him.
it.
I know what you do.
Okay,
And that's what I'm
unfortunately.
saying. Sports, when you got food poisoning, sports didn't say knock on the door and say,
No.
here, I'll get you chicken soup. I'm Dak Prescott. I'm getting you chicken soup. I'm the one who got you the Pedialyte, the chicken
You
soup.
did.
So that's the priority of you have to see the
I-
real picture.
I will give you this. You are the most loyal companion anybody's ever had.
Yeah, to a fault.
To a fault.
Yeah.
You're loyal. You
There's a
you
star
live and
somewhere,
die
but it's
for me while I'm living and dying for this,
Yeah.
right?
Right, but I don't know, it would go that far. But,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a loyal person. It's just who I am.
And I liked your backbone. I liked your toughness that
Yeah.
you got from your mom
Yeah.
and your dad, for
My
that
dad,
matter.
Italian
Italian.
from Little Italy, yeah.
That's right. But I was most attracted to the fact that you didn't like sports because I don't want a me, like I don't want somebody
No.
who's going to obsess with me and feed my addiction
Well, it's
to
like
sports.
two actors that live together.
That's true, yeah.
People don't do
So that was number one, no sports.
right.
And number two, you didn't cook. And I came
Right.
from a family that went deep in cook, starting with my brother, who's a nationally renowned chef and restaurateur,
World-renowned.
world-renowned. And the point is, you didn't boil
No.
water. You
No.
didn't do anything.
You were so excited the first time when I said, I'll make you something. I opened a can of tuna and I made you a tuna sandwich. You
She
were like,
did.
wow, this tuna sandwich is really good.
really
I was like,
good.
well, that's the extent of all I'm going to make. And I'm someone, lived in New York all my life until I came out here. It's a New York thing. My closet became the oven. The oven was, now I have a closet, and then the oven is my other closet.
so
and I
you-
still use this oven here. I
You
I
put
keep
things
bags in it.
She keeps things in
Bags,
our
and I
oven. We
put
don't
the
use
garbage
the oven.
bags.
She puts things.
Yeah,
She
I put
stores
in
things in our
It's
oven.
a good storage space.
And that's how people do it in one
in New York, in
bedroom,
studios and
in
one
studio
bedrooms.
apartments.
Yeah, it's great. In New York, I kept my shoes and my handbags in my closet.
Okay. So for Thanksgiving, when we decide what are we going to do for
Right.
Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
are we going to go out?
And my sister Joyce was going to come over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
and
Skip
so,
says to me, "What are we going to eat?" I said, "Well, I don't know." One year I tried to make stovetop stuffing.
you did.
And then I read this week. I didn't
wasn't good.
tell you that they recalled stovetop stuffing. It's like could provide cause cancer or something.
Oh.
So good thing I never
knew?
tried it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we ended up for Thanksgiving. She went to a local market here. It's a very good. Would you
No,
call
it's
it
a good-
5-star market or
It's
a
a
4-star? I don't know.
it's a gourmet
called
grocery
Gelson's
store.
out
It's like a
here.
Dean and DeLuca. It's like a
In New York,
Yeah, in
yeah.
New York.
Okay.
It's a gourmet
So
grocery store.
she just ordered.
They had a
the
great deal.
dinners.
They had turkey with all the trimmings. I don't eat turkey because I'm a vegetarian, but they had turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes and everything for two for $60, which is incredible. And it would feed four. They give you so much, and the quality is incredible. But when I went to pick it up on Thanksgiving morning, there were like 13 people standing in front of me because they cooked turkeys for people. It's great. And when we went to some restaurants here on Thanksgiving, it was terrible. The food was terrible, and they charge you $300,
Yeah.
and they give you greasy lobster ravioli and greasy turkey, and it was gross.
Yeah. Sometimes
This-
we would order out from restaurants, and it would cost $300.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
for two people.
And this was the best Thanksgiving. I mean, I tasted the stuffing. It was pretty close to my mother's. My mother's was the best, but
But she watched me eat.
yeah, and you licked the plate, man.
And I
never
did,
saw
and she
you.
said, "That's the best you've liked."
I've
a
never seen you
Thanksgiving
eat so
dinner."
much food. There was nothing left on the plate. And then, of course, Skip said, "Well, it was pretty good." I go, "Well, you didn't leave anything. Wasn't it great?"
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty good.
It was pretty great.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Okay,
And
so
even Hazel got some turkey too. She got some. She
a
said,
little
"This
bit,
is
but
better
we-
than Caesar's."
but we try not to feed her any
No,
bad stuff.
she doesn't get
right?
anything.
She's
I
in
never feed her
very good
anything
shape.
except her dog food.
You're a very good girl. You're doing a
But
good
she
job.
likes Caesar's dog food, but Caesar's turkey didn't taste like Gelson's. Yeah,
Okay, let's talk about this love of my life.
yeah.
Okay, so the reason we got Hazel, and by the way, she's named after one of your
One of my
favorite
favorite TV shows,
sitcoms
Hazel,
from the 60s called Hazel. Look it up.
It's a fun show.
And Hazel is actually
The maid.
She's kind of is she a live-in maid?
Yeah, she's a live-in
She's a
maid.
live-in maid, but she runs the
yeah,
household.
she runs their household.
and she
And it was taken from
manipulates their lives in a good way.
it was taken from a comic strip.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Ted, I can't remember his last name, who wrote Hazel in Boston. It was a comic strip.
Okay. So I wanted to name her after your mom,
Mm-hmm.
and you immediately said no, Hazel. And somehow Hazel, her mom's name's Evelyn, and I don't know if Evie or Evelyn would have worked.
No,
but
I just didn't want to, yeah.
I know, then it would
It's
be a
too-
constant
yeah.
reminder because she's no longer with us. But the point is, Hazel just stuck, and
Yeah,
it's
and
the
she likes
perfect
that
name
name.
because she is a Hazel.
Yeah. She
She's
takes
also
charge.
a bit of a psycho.
She's a diva, a
Right
psycho.
now, she's not happy with the crew who's here for this
She's okay if
show.
she doesn't look that way.
Yeah, she's not looking right now, but she is one screw loose.
Yeah, she got a
She
little
doesn't
bit of a
like
screw.
people. She loves us, and she's extremely protective of her to
Mm-hmm.
the point she would die for her. Trust me. Oh, there she just growled right on.
Yeah.
Cue. What is that? What are you upset
Yeah,
about?
she hears
Okay.
a noise.
So, the irony of this situation was, do you have a
Yeah.
TREAT?
Yeah.
Oh,
There we go. Yep. I
that's
got
a
it.
good girl.
I got it.
That's a good girl.
Okay. There
That's
we
a
go.
very good girl. Okay.
The irony of the situation is
She wants more. The irony is that she wanted a dog. It's okay. It's okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Everything's
I
fine.
wanted a small dog. Skip wanted a big dog.
And I wasn't ready to have a dog. I've had several in my lifetime, and the last one I had I was very close with, and I just said, I don't want to do that again. I
Right.
want to start the process up again.
Right, right.
But she said, hey, I got this. And I said, are you going to care and feed? You're going to
Right.
do all the...
Like the
quote,
child.
unquote-
Are you
yeah.
going to take care of your
Yes.
puppy?
It's okay.
And I said yes.
Everything's
So
okay. Thank you.
I found Hazel.
Okay, so she went out to Burbank out here in Southern California and found this woman who bred Malteses.
I know that's against people only wants rescue, they only want people to get
but
rescue
whatever.
dogs, but
All right, I don't know anything about that, but I do
I
know
couldn't find a rescue Maltese.
that she wanted a teacup
I
kind
want a
of dog.
multi-poo. I wanted a multi-poo,
She wanted a
actually.
smaller dog that she could actually put in her handbag, as she says.
If I was traveling.
If she was traveling or going to there's a great mall a block away from here, so she could just carry Hazel
Yeah.
around. And she swung and missed, thankfully for me.
Hazel kept
because
growing.
She kept growing, and now she's 10-ish pounds, and she's weirdly elastic, long,
Yeah.
and very athletic,
Yeah.
quick, fast.
Well, because she's
That's okay.
trained by
That's
you.
Okay, well,
She's got a trainer.
Yeah.
She's the only dog with a trainer.
the trainer. Well, that's so. The amazing thing is that right away, she started to gravitate to me, even though
Yeah.
I kind of cold-shouldered her at the first because it was going to be your dog.
Yeah, but you cold-shouldered her maybe for one day, and then all of a sudden you started, coming over to her, hey, Hazel, and then Hazel is little, and Hazel doesn't know better, so then she starts going with you, and then you're training her, and I
wasn't
don't
training
know.
her. I would play
I
fight
don't know,
with her with my
and
hands, and she liked
and
it.
she pees like a boy.
She pees.
And I
she
think
lifts
Skip
her leg
showed
like
her
a
how
boy.
to
I did
pee.
not
I
show
think
her
he
how
went
to pee.
out in the
She
woods and
just
he
got
showed her,
some
lift your
boy
leg.
in her.
Yeah.
She is a tomboy. Can we go that far? Is
Yeah,
that fair?
she's a tomboy from you, not me. And then when I would have the groomer who grooms her once a week because she's white and she needs to be groomed, and
gets
the
dirty
little
fast.
mobile
Yeah.
unit comes around.
Right.
They would put bows in her hair, and then he would take the bows out and say they fell out.
Yeah. Well, she's got her.
She got her
Thanksgiving-
trademark feathers
Yeah.
on.
Weren't these
Yeah.
for Thanksgiving?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. And she had a little ascot too,
I
but
don't
she
love
takes
the
the
feathers.
ascot
I,
off.
I always take the ascot off.
Yeah.
But usually these things are gone after 4 or 5 days.
Yeah,
right?
if she runs with them, but yeah.
I feel sorry for her that she has to wear them,
Why?
but it's okay.
Everybody
But-
loves the
but when we
feathers.
do
She
take
loves
her-
the feathers.
We take her to the mall on Saturdays because
Yeah.
it's a parade
Yeah,
of
everybody
dog walking.
comments on her feathers.
And they love to see
she's
Hazel
a
with
hippie
her-
chick.
She's a hippie chick from Burbank.
Yeah.
And she likes the sunshine.
She's got a Valley
right?
girl accent.
Yeah, but what she hates the most about Hazel is that I use her, as she says, as my
You
Buddha.
do. You use her as a Buddha. You did
As
it.
my
You
good luck
did it
charm
on
watching
Thanksgiving.
games.
You did it Thanksgiving night.
I did it on Thanksgiving, and weirdly, it was the all-time great Hazel good luck charm story.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching the Dallas Cowboys. She will not watch with me
No.
in those
Bad
games
enough
because
I
I'm
hear
out
it
of
on
my
the other
mind.
side of
She
the
can hear me
house,
screaming, and
screaming,
sometimes I
cursing,
scream at the TV.
And curse. And
Sometimes
yell.
I curse a little bit,
Yeah.
but I just got to let it out. I just got to
Right.
get it out.
Don't
And
let it
once,
out
Once
where
I
I'm-
yell, it just goes out of me, and I'm better, right?
No letting out where I am.
So we get to halftime of the Cow, and they're playing a bad team from your town. Oops,
Right.
I just hit my
My
microphone,
town.
Knock it back. New York.
Best
Not
town
that
in
you
the
care
world.
about
Best city in the world.
okay.
Yeah.
Better than LA.
Better
No.
city in the best
LA
city in
is
the
better.
world.
What about the weather?
The weather is good here, minus any earthquakes, but you cannot beat New York City.
Okay. Can you
For
beat the
anything.
weather in Los Angeles, California?
No, the weather is amazing.
How many days do you come in the afternoon out after you've been out for a walk to
Yeah.
the mall and you say, God, it's just beautiful outside.
Yeah,
It's
I
almost
say that
every
all
day.
the
And I say,
time.
duh.
I say it's
another
you
day in
can't-
paradise.
I always say the only good thing about LA is the weather.
Okay. But it's a cool place. You get to see stars. You pass,
Yeah.
you come in and say, I had an A-list sighting today. I saw
but
so-and-so.
I saw stars in New York City too.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
not
tons of
like
them.
here. Okay.
Anyway, it doesn't
So the point is, this is the all-time good luck charm story because on Thanksgiving, I'm watching Dallas against the New York Football Giants, who are pretty terrible. You
Right.
can make a case they're the worst team.
whatever. Bad
And
year.
They're having a bad year, and they dumped their quarterback, and then they lost their second-string quarterback to an
Right.
injury, so they're down to Drew Lock, their third-string
Yeah.
quarterback. So we have been all-time pathetic
Mm-hmm.
and embarrassing and humiliating and an abomination at home through 6 straight home games,
Yes.
dating back to last year's playoff game. She doesn't know much about this, but
Oh, I know enough.
she just knows enough. And this was the breakthrough game when we at least have to beat the Giants
No,
at
I
home
know.
and break the home hex of we can't even compete at home.
I know.
So we're barely up at halftime. And at halftime, I thought, I'm going to eat something, so I'm going to eat a protein bar. And she's down at my feet in her little bed, and she looks up at me like, I don't get anything.
Right, and the next thing I know is I'm sitting in the back room, and all of a sudden Hazel comes running into my room, and I thought, wow, that's really weird. She's not with him anymore. And I look, and then I hear, and she comes to try to jump up on me, and then I said, Hazel, go in your bed.
so
And she
what-
goes in her bed, and then he comes running in. Where's Hazel?
Okay,
Where's Hazel?
What had happened was, I said, and I don't think I've ever done this before, but she looked at me like, I don't get anything. And I
Right.
said, okay, I'll get you a treat.
You're right.
So I have to go out of my man cave
Right,
and
and go to
walk
the
around the
kitchen.
corner to the kitchen where her TREATSs are.
Right.
We try to spell it out or
Right.
she'll just flip out.
Yeah.
And get her, I just got her one. You feed her like
Right.
4 at a time.
I
Well,
feed
you
her
just-
one.
yeah.
Well, I feed her when there's a situation that I have to, shut
Like
her
when
up.
we leave the house, you give her 5 treats. And
I
I'm like,
give
"You
her
can't give her 5
one."
treats.
Oh my God,
to
you must
calm her
be
down.
living with another person, another dog. It's not me.
Okay,
But
so the point is, I got her one treat, and as I come, the game had just started, and I said,
Right.
"Well, I'll get you one."
Right.
And as I come back in, we're moving the ball, and I said, "Here, Hazel," and I dropped her treat down in the floor by the kitchen.
Right.
Okay, so she leaves the room. So
right.
the good
well,
luck
she would do
charm is out
anything
of
to
the room.
leave. She finally
That's
said,
not
"Oh my
true.
God,
This is
I
a
got an
lie.
out. I can
This is a
finally
lie.
get out."
Okay.
Sometimes she's walking cockeyed because she can't take the football anymore. She's had 18
All right, so
games
the
in
point
one
is,
day.
As she eats the treat, I turn to the TV, and I never miss like a snap of the Cowboy game,
Right.
but I missed 2 plays in a
Yeah,
row.
and she got sprung from jail, and she came
all of
running
a sudden,
to me.
Cooper Rush is running for a touchdown, and he's not the fastest guy or the most mobile quarterback, but because he was desperate to put us up 20-10 at
Yeah.
that point, he gives up his body and he's hurtling toward the goal line, and he gets hit at the 1, and he loses the freaking ball.
Right.
And it goes in the end zone, and the Giants recover. And I'm like out of my mind
Right.
because my good luck charm has
Right.
left the room.
She
And I
is-
look, and she's gone.
She feels as
And
though she got a reprieve. Like, thank
she
God.
has run all the way to
She's
the back
running to me
to
because
find her.
she said, "Can I just hide in here?" And then he comes in like the
I
big
come
bad
running in
wolf.
there.
He's like Bigfoot running in. Hey, have you seen Hazel?
I didn't know where she went.
And poor Hazel, she's in the bed behind me, like saying, "Please don't tell him I'm in here." I said, "She's in the bed. I need her back. I need her back."
Well, I desperately
And
need
she's
her. I
like
know, you
cowering.
do.
I
See,
said,
she
"You've got to
loves me.
go."
Yeah,
And
she
so
says yes.
she's looking. He picks her up and he carries her away like a football
very
under his
good girl.
arm, and she's looking back
I
at me
grabbed
like
her and I
crying.
ran. So
Yeah.
guess what happens?
Oh, here we go. The psychoness.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
but it's true.
The game changed.
So
Yes.
I run back in the room, and it's still in commercial break.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I got you back. Maybe we can rally from this.
Right.
And as we sit back down, I think I had her in my lap at
Yeah.
that point. They come back from commercial, and it's on. That game was on Fox. I'm pretty sure it was Kevin Burkhardt and Tom. And they say, "Oh, we didn't see this, but this got reviewed, and Cooper Rush's knee was
Oh. This is
down."
all because
It's
Hazel.
'cause I went and
Hazel
got
went
Hazel.
back in. Oh,
I got Hazel. And
I'm
the
gonna
good
win
luck
the lottery.
charm.
I'm gonna rub Hazel's head.
Okay, it was back in power. So,
Yeah.
so all of a sudden it flipped the game on its
Yeah.
head because we still had the football at the 1-yard line, and we
All 'cause of Hazel.
proceeded to score
Right.
quickly. And even though it went down to the bitter end,
Yeah.
and Cooper Rush had to throw a 2-yard completion just to Brandon Cooks to end
So
the game.
you don't think this would have happened if Hazel didn't
No,
come back?
it would
with
not
you?
have
I
happened.
don't understand this.
Okay, she always says, how could something that happened in your man cave in Los Angeles, on the west side of Los Angeles,
Right.
California, impact a game that's being played, whatever it is, 1,500 miles away
Yeah.
at Jerry World in
Really?
Arlington, Texas?
Like, that's what I don't
But it
understand.
does.
That's
Okay, but it was
psycho.
proof perfect. I showed you, and I yelled to her, it worked.
Right.
It worked.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
It
yeah.
worked.
It worked.
The game was saved. And I know
Hazel.
it's just the Giants, but it changed
The
my,
woman
it
where I
turned my
bought
season
Hazel
around.
has no idea what she gave us when she gave us Hazel. Hazel,
The
a
ultimate
life
good luck
Buddha.
charm.
A Buddha.
Yeah. Way to go, Hazel. So you're a very good girl. Thank you.
Yeah, she's saying, yeah,
Okay.
until please don't bring me
Okay,
back in
so-
the football world again.
So now we have created the classic, as the psychiatrist would say, triangle within our house.
Yeah.
Because she gets jealous that she likes me more than she likes her.
please,
But
it's
she
just-
loves her. She would die for her.
But there
she
are
likes to
days
spend
I don't
time
see her.
with
The
me.
weekend, I see her maybe a half an hour. because
Okay.
all she does is stay in your room from Saturday to Sunday. But I'm the one that feeds her, and
do.
I'm the one that lets her out and takes her for the walks most of the
do.
time. So
Yeah.
her priorities are screwed up, but that's okay.
And you do clean up and you do all those
You
things.
need her more than what are they the therapy dogs? Hazel is a good therapy dog for
Okay.
you.
So I like big,
Right.
strong,
You wanted
powerful
a
dogs.
Rhodesian Ridgeback.
I did. I wanted a Rhodesian Ridgeback, and yet everything I read about them, they're high strung and they're crazy energetic. Where you have to have a backyard. We don't have a backyard, and you have to play with them constantly to wear them out because if they don't, they're going to tear your house down.
Well, she gets handled more than anybody in the world. There is not a day. This girl, little girl, gets petted, and I mean, if she's not getting pet, she freaks out. You have to pet her on the
She's a
head.
diva?
And she's a diva,
Yeah.
but we love her.
Okay. But how threatened are you that she spends too much time with
Well,
me?
I've given it up now. Now I know. I just know. It's okay. You need her. I don't need the therapy dog as much as you do. That means I don't have as many crazy psychological issues like you do.
But you got to give me this.
Yeah.
At least now that I'm not on television every day,
We don't get up at 2 o'clock
I don't
in the
have to
morning.
get up, and she doesn't have
And
to
I
get
don't
up
have to get
at
up.
2
That
o'clock in
that
the morning.
is the
because
saving.
she couldn't sleep any more than I could sleep.
No.
But for 8 straight years out here, without fail,
Yes.
5 days a week,
Yes.
about 50 weeks a year, on every weekday morning,
please.
I got up at 2
Please,
a.m. and I
2
jumped
o'clock.
out of bed at 2 a.m. But unfortunately, she would wake up,
it
and
was
then she would wake
terrible.
up again,
It
and
was
she would wake
terrible.
up again when I
Two,
left.
I
It was
could have
just
had
terrible.
an infant. I was up at 2, 3, 4, 5 every hour on the hour.
And I do think it's added a year or two back onto my life because,
And mine.
but I feel
Well,
more
you
rested.
were really. I
Yeah.
mean, you were that's a schedule that nobody should ever have in their life.
Yeah.
2 a.m. wake up, and God forbid. I mean, maybe you overslept once or twice, 10 minutes.
No, I never
But
did.
or your alarm didn't go off, and then that's why you had 3 alarms. It's a grueling, draining
It was
thing.
a grind.
And you had to go to the sleep doctor once. Remember
That was way back
in New
our
York.
first- that was still cold pizza days.
Yeah.
And I
You
wasn't
had
getting
to,
up at 2
you had to take a
because,
half of an Ambien to go to
I
sleep
would
at
get up
night.
at 3 for
Yeah.
cold pizza.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
It's just inhuman.
I got a little hooked on Ambien
Yeah.
for a while, and then
We went to
I
that
got
sleep
off.
doctor
Yeah.
because that's not good.
All right. Last order of business is now we're entering the holiday season.
Yeah.
My favorite Christmas movie.
Die
and
Hard.
People, thank you.
I know it.
Yeah, you know it cold. And then I saw it was trending the other night on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Better Christmas movie, and it was Die Hard, A Christmas Story, or Elf. And I'm not a big Christmas story guy, and I don't think you are either. It's
I
not
wasn't
in
a
our
big Christmas
catalog
story.
of Christmas
No, I mean, if
movies.
I'm going to do Christmas movies, I love White Christmas,
Well, that's way back.
and I love Holiday Inn,
Way back.
and then I
She
love
loves old
I love
stuff.
old vintage Hollywood. But I do like Die Hard.
Okay,
and we
but
like
we
the
go through-
Griswolds, but we like Chevy
Christmas
Chase.
Vacation.
Yeah, that's great.
We like Home Alone.
Home Alone is really
right?
good, especially the New York.
Even It's a Wonderful Life. I'm not the big.
No, I'm
biggest
not a big
fan,
Wonderful
But you know,
Life.
I love any Scrooge
Yeah, the
spinoff.
old 1928 Scrooge or 30? No, it's 38. The
It's
one with June
38.
Lockhart's family is 38
38.
with Reginald.
And it's A Christmas
Yeah,
Carol.
that's a good
Charles
one. Yeah.
Dickens.
I like Elf. I love Will Ferrell.
But
that
you
was
loved Elf before I met you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And we
and-
both love Will Ferrell
yeah,
and
Will
Anchorman
Ferrell.
and Talladega
I mean, oh my
Nights.
God. But
Okay, so back to Die Hard. So we will watch Die Hard, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 times because it's the ultimate Christmas Eve movie.
Yeah,
to
but the
me.
only problem is this is a nightmare problem. He recites every line.
I know
so
every
it
line
takes the
cold.
joy out of watching.
I could write the script
Right.
down right now,
Right.
like verbatim.
But even though I like it and I know the lines, but I don't say them, he says them and then he looks at me like he's acting in it, and I don't know what to say. So it's like, okay, I know the Alan, what's his name, Alan.
Rickman.
Rickman's lines. I know,
Hans
Bruce's, everybody's lines, but he looks at me. Oh,
Shoot the glass.
shoot. Yeah.
Shoot the glass.
Didn't I buy you the T-shirt? I bought you the T-shirt that
did.
said,
Oh,
The
it's
ra-
ho,
the-
ho, ho, now I have a machine gun.
yeah, right. Yeah.
It's
But
a great movie.
and we also live
Hazel
near the
loves Die Hard.
building. The building.
Oh, yeah.
that-
We can see out our window
Yeah.
Nakatomi Plaza,
Right.
which is a Fox building, very near to where we live.
Right.
But you can just literally see it out our window.
Yeah, so
And
that's...
when I used to drive in the morning at Fox, I had to drive right by it, and I would take the
Central Park
ramp,
yeah.
the off ramp
Yeah.
on Olympic up to Avenue of the
Right,
Stars
just
that they take when Argyle picks up Bruce Willis's character, John
with the
McClane,
limo.
at the airport at
Yeah,
the first.
yeah.
Then they're driving, and
Yeah.
he's a time limo driver.
Right.
And you can see him take the
pass,
off ramp
yeah.
off Olympic Boulevard out here, which is
Yeah.
a main thoroughfare, up onto Avenue of the Stars.
yeah.
And it's right there is
I know.
Nakatomi Plaza.
It's a good one. It's
good.
And
Well, you
Bruce
agree
is
it's
just,
great,
oh, it's
right?
great. It's
And Alan
great.
Rickman is
Alan
the
Rickman
greatest
was
villain
so
ever
great.
to me.
Oh, God.
He's just so
Yeah,
cool, hateable.
he was. He played a villain
Got
so
so
well.
many great. And when he tries to fool Bruce
Oh, my
Willis
God.
by playing
Did the sympathy card
a
with
guy
him.
named Clay,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right.
Don't do it now,
I
please.
can do
Don't
it.
go
I can
into
do it.
reciting the whole movie.
All right, we're going to leave it there. That's it for this episode. I want to thank Hazel for listening. She didn't have much
Yeah,
to say today, but she was okay.
in a
Thank
mellow
you.
mood.
Thank you. She's in a mellow mood. And I want to thank Ernestine. I usually thank her for overseeing, but for participating today.
My pleasure.
If you
hope
enjoyed
everyone got
her
a kick out
presence,
of it.
let
Yeah.
us know. Thank you, Hazel. And who knows? Maybe we'll have you
Maybe we'll
back
do it
again.
again.
And we want to thank our man Tyler
Tyler.
Korn for overseeing today and producing. And we will see you soon.